personal foul.
That was absolutely ridiculous.
The Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
Up on down. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series.
I don't know. It's tough. Tom's up there, man.
Well, I've been a fan of Boston Celtics for, my whole life pretty much.
First Celtics game was back when I was like 7.
The Boston Celtics became legendary.
What is going on YouTube? Sports Justin Made here on YouTube and from Beatdown Takes back in with another reaction video. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Celtics have officially finished the gap season.
Got him. We fucking got him.
But unfortunately for the rest of the league and for the media members who predicted the Celtics to take a step back this year, be right around the 500 mark in the play-in and most likely even out of the playoffs, unfortunately for those people, the Boston Celtics are now in playoff season.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
Once again. See what I did there? Gap season who? You're forgetting that we have the best GM in all of basketball. You're forgetting that he knows talent when he sees it, and because of that, we have a deep roster from top to bottom. Like, going into the season, going into the year, I made my prediction based off Tatum being out for the entire year. Like, that's how I made my prediction. And even then, I still had the Celtics in the playoffs. I had them right around 47 wins. And I had them at the 6th seed, 5th seed at best. But no lower than the 8th. And I had them still in the playoffs at the end of the day. So, by definition, that is not a gap year. If you're making the playoffs and you have an above 500 record, that's not a gap year. That's a pretty decent year for the amount of guys that you lost in free agency, the guys that you lost via trade, and the fact that you were missing your main piece of the team because he was injured. That's a pretty damn solid year. That's still a pretty good year if that was the expectation going into it. And not only was I proven wrong by my prediction by saying that they would be like around 47 wins in like the 6th seed or the 5th at best, but I was wrong in a good way. Number 2 in the Eastern Conference, 56-26 to finish the year. And I will say, though, the analysis that I had on the roster of how deep they could be was right. It was true. Now, again, I made my prediction going into it thinking that Tatum would be out for the remainder, like the entire year. Like, that's how I looked at it. And I feel like a lot of people, like the safe bet was to put them at the 6th, 5th seed in the playoffs, still at around. I feel like that was like the safe bet to do. Like that was the safe prediction. If anybody had them out of the playoffs, or even like 9th or 10th in the Eastern Conference, that was just ridiculous. And there were a lot of people that put the Boston Celtics in that category. I wasn't one of those people. I said 41-41 was low for a prediction. I said it was low. But it turned out to be not a gap year. Celtics are back in the playoffs. They are going to wait and see who they are going to face. It will be either the Philadelphia 76ers or it will be the Orlando Magic in the first round. Who would I rather want? I think I would rather want Orlando, especially what I saw yesterday with how they play. My God.
This nigga is trash.
Like, seriously, I had so much expectation for Orlando going into the year. They made some great moves, I felt like, this past offseason, where I thought they were going to take another leap in their game. And, like, they just didn't. They took a step back. They got beat by the back end of the Celtics bench yesterday, and Orlando was fully healthy. Like, they legit had zero excuse yesterday to lose that game. And again, that's no disrespect to the guys that played yesterday. That's no disrespect to them. But let's be real. Let's call it a spade for a spade. There was no reason for Orlando to lose that game yesterday. None. There was no reason for them to lose that game. You had Banchero, you had Wagner, you had Desmond Bane on the floor, and you had Jalen Suggs on the floor. Like, there was no reason for you to lose that game yesterday if you were Orlando. For Orlando, that was probably their worst loss of the season this year. They pulled a Celtics, honestly. Honestly, they pulled a Celtics. They came in here thinking that it was their game to win, and it was going to be an easy battle. And they just choked it. They're in the level of the Cleveland Cavaliers for me. They choke in the biggest moments. They never show up. They're overhyped. They're overrated. And that's how it is. I don't really expect them to go far. I mean, yesterday, you could just tell on their faces, too, that they looked visibly defeated yesterday. Now they have to travel to Philadelphia to play in a playing game. And then, if they lose that game, they're going to have to face Charlotte. That's my prediction between the Heat and the Charlotte Hornets game that's going to be played on Tuesday for the play-in tournament. But you're going to have to play Charlotte. Good luck. It'll be interesting to see how, if the Orlando Magic do not make the playoffs, if they don't make it to the playoffs, it's going to be very interesting to see how they approach the offseason. This upcoming offseason. It's going to be very interesting. They might need a shakeup, honestly. But as far as the Celtics go, I mean, I have the Celtics winning the first round. If any game is going to be tougher between the two, like if any series is going to be tougher between the two, it's probably going to be Philadelphia, right? Like, I would think it's going to be Philadelphia. I mean, Edgecombe, I think, is very nice. He had a phenomenal year. Probably not enough to win it Rookie of the Year, but, he was very good for them this year. Tyrese Maxey's always a problem when he faces the Celtics. That is someone who you always got to keep an eye out on. He had a phenomenal year this year, too. They're going to miss Joel Embiid for the first round, so you won't have to worry about Joel Embiid in the first round. I believe Paul George is back for them also. I mean, is he really a factor? He hasn't been that good this year, and he's only played 40 games around there. So, but I think though Philadelphia will probably be the tougher matchup of the two. Right now, if I had to look at the roster up and down, I think Philly would be the tougher matchup. Especially yesterday after seeing what Orlando did and what their mentality is. I don't know. I just don't have much faith in them. I mean, don't get me wrong. Their potential is better than Philadelphia. That's for sure. But, I can't give them the benefit of the doubt much longer. They've been on a roller coaster year this year. When they were supposed to be, top 4 in the Eastern Conference. And then the way they just lost yesterday is just I can't give them the benefit of the doubt no more. There's no way I can give them the benefit of the doubt anymore. And you got to look at them how they are for this year at least. And that might be fraudulent. So, I expect the Celtics to win the first round. Second round should be very interesting. You might have a rematch between Knicks and Celtics. If you can face Atlanta, I mean, Atlanta's been balling this year, too. So, like, we'll have to see, like, how that would play out. But yeah, Knicks and Celtics second round would go crazy for a rematch. We'll see if things are a little bit different. Because also, the Knicks haven't looked that great this year either. Like, they were supposed to be, like, the best team in the Eastern Conference. And, like, they finished third in the Eastern Conference. And they just don't, it just seems like they don't have that toughness like they did last year. From the games, like, I watched for them at least, it just seems like they didn't have the toughness like they did last year. But obviously, in playoffs, anything can happen. So maybe they take this next week to get their games together and maybe look at film from this past year versus what they did last year, right? And maybe try to mesh the two games together. But who knows? We're going to have to wait and see on that. But for this video here, we're going to react to This Is Not the Same Boston Celtics. Leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoy these videos. Comment if you guys knew you guys are going to do. Go check out the website. The link is in the description down below. If you guys have been notified whenever we drop an upload, hit that notification bell so you can be the first one to watch these videos. Without further ado, stop straight into the reaction.
As we sit here this morning, we're in no position to deny it or keep that claim. Because right now, the Boston Celtics look like a team that could win the championship.
Look at the swing, the attack, the elevation.
Jason Tatum is back, and not only is he back, he started.
Welcome back.
This was supposed to be a gap year for the Boston Celtics. Tatum.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That's the expectation you people put on him. I put on them to get into the playoffs. Win a playoff series. Or at least make the first round competitive. That was my expectation going into the year. Let's not get it twisted. It was a gap year for everybody really outside of Boston or don't really follow the Celtics that much. That was the expectation for those people. Not here. No, because I watched this team carefully. Were there question marks going into the year that could prevent them from getting into the playoffs? Sure, of course there was. Like, even I acknowledge that. It's one of my biggest questions going into the year was, how will Neemias Queta look at the starting big? That was my biggest question. And I was sitting here saying, like, how Neemias Queta plays and how the other guys are going to pick themselves up after what you lost is going to determine how this year goes. And they picked themselves up well. And they saw the challenge ahead of them and they took it the right way. And they performed at their best level. They gave it 110% every single night. And they were rewarded with that, with the results that were shown on the floor. Jaylen Brown should be a top 3 candidate for MVP this year. Should be. That should not be a debate. His leadership, his integrity, his mindset, and the leap that he took in his game. And to also make guys around him better is a huge reason why the Celtics are where they are right now. And it's also a huge reason why Tatum came back. Like, if the Celtics were legit, like, in a play-in spot, or, like, the gap year that you guys were saying, he's not back yet. No, there's legit a window open for the Celtics to do damage this year. And because of that window opening for this year, Tatum saw it and was like, I could really help this team out and help eclipse them to get to that next level. And we could do some real noise this year. And he came back. That is all because of the play of Jaylen Brown and the guys that were on the roster when Tatum were out. And their mindset of how they played. It's because of those guys.
Tore his Achilles in the playoffs. The roster was
it's also a shout out to the coaching staff too, though.
Tax penalties. Over half the
putting in the right mind, putting in the right game plan every night, and putting the guys in the best position to succeed.
Before it even started. But Jaylen Brown and Joe Mazzulla and co had other plans. And if you need a single image to understand exactly what those plans look like, in a recent game against the Heat, Brown drops 43 points. Tatum records a 25-point, 18-rebound, 11-assist triple-double, and the Celtics score 53 points in the first quarter alone. A franchise record, tied for the second most first-quarter points in NBA history. Final score, 147 to 129.
Yeah, but defense there wasn't that great.
Conference, fourth best net rating in the entire NBA, built almost entirely without their franchise player on the floor. And now, Tatum is back and looks to be fully integrated. And what he came back to isn't the depleted, surviving version of the Celtics that everyone expected. He came back to a team that figured something out while he was gone. Something about how they want to play, who they want to be, and what this roster is actually capable of when the system is running right. So this video isn't about whether Boston is still relevant. That conversation is over.
Yeah.
This is about how this happened, because the answer is more interesting than the result. And by the end of this, you're going to look at this team completely different heading into the playoffs. But let's start at the beginning, because to understand what the Celtics are now, you need to understand why everyone is so convinced they were done. The gap year narrative made complete sense on paper. It genuinely did. You lose 3 veterans from a championship team, your best player tears his Achilles in the middle of a playoff run, and you're rolling into the season with Jaylen Brown as your best available player and a bunch of guys who've never had to carry a team before. Every projection had Boston somewhere into 5 to 8 seed range. Competitive, but not championship caliber.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. Time out. I gotta go back to one of your comments you just made.
And you're rolling into the season with Jaylen Brown as your best available player and a bunch of guys who've never had to carry a team before.
Well, I mean, that's not true, really. I mean, Derek White has always been looked at as a third option of the team. Peyton Pritchard, the year before, just won 6th Man of the Year. You always knew Jaylen Brown was a 1B on this team, alongside with Jason Tatum. Like, you knew how good he could be. Like, those 3 guys right there could easily get you some games. And then going into the year, you added Simons too, who averaged like 19 points a game the year prior, but like obviously he took a step back, went to the 6-man role, but like he was still averaging 15 a game. So those were 4 guys right there going into it where you had some scoring. The main question was the other guys. I mean, you knew Hauser was going to average around 9 points per game off the bench. Like, you knew that was something that was guaranteed. But then you would question, like, oh, should he be starting now because of Tatum being out? Like you were questioning, like, how the starting rotation would look like without him. Like, that's really what it was. You knew Hauser was going to get around 9 points a game for the year. Like that's something like he's always done. Kata was the big question mark. Jordan Walsh was a question mark. Baylor Scheinman was a question mark. Luka Garza was a question mark. Minot was a question mark. Did I say Kata already? If I didn't say Kata already, I mean, he'll get 2 recognitions from me. Kata was a question mark. You had Hugo Gonzalez, the new kid coming in here. You were trying to see like what he could do. Like, there was question marks from the back end of the bench, I would say. And even at the starting center position, like, sure. But they had their scoring still. So I feel like that was just never a question. The question was the guys around Pritchard, White, Brown. Because that was like your main core for the season, if that makes sense. I mean, again, Simons, you knew he was going to average double figures a game. You knew that. You knew Hauser was going to average 9 a game, whatever. It was everybody else that was kind of like the question mark.
Every projection had Boston somewhere into 5 to 8 seed range. Competitive, but not championship caliber.
You said 5 to 8? I mean, okay.
What those predictions missed was the system. Joe Mazzulla has been built.
I mean, I beg to differ. I think people had them 9, 10, maybe even 11th.
Mazzulla ball. And the core of it is pretty straightforward. 5-out spacing, high volume 3-point shooting, minimal turnovers, and a defensive philosophy built on staying connected and trusting the structure, rather than gambling for steals or over-rotating. The Celtics' discipline is forcing you into making the wrong play. But what's remarkable is that without Tatum, their primary creator, their best offensive player over the last few years, their offense still ranked second in the entire NBA. At
Crazy. That's just wild.
Points per 100 possessions. Without their best
that shouldn't
player for
happen.
the majority of the season. The defense held at 4th in the league with a 111.8 defensive rating, and that makes Boston one of only 2 teams in the NBA, the other being San Antonio, to rank top 5.
That shouldn't happen with the guys you lost.
Defensive efficiency. But here's the part of the season that doesn't get enough attention. Not only did the Celtics maintain their offensive identity, they actually fixed one of their long-standing weaknesses in the process. Rebounding has always been a soft spot for this team. They lived and died by the 3-point shot for years.
Yep.
And when you build a roster around perimeter shooting, you tend to sacrifice some physicality up front.
Yeah.
This season, Boston is currently 6th in total rebounding percentage.
Damn.
The highest they've ranked in years. They went from a team that was consistently getting worked on the glass to one that's actively dominating the rebounding game most nights. In a recent win over Atlanta,
that's Kata. That's Kata's effect, really.
And those second chance opportunities were the difference in the game. A lot of that comes down to one guy who deserves his own section, and we'll get there. But the broader point is this. The gap year narrative assumed the Celtics were dependent on their veterans to compete. What this season proved is that the veterans were the product of the system, not the other way around. When they left, the system didn't leave with them. It got handed to the next group of guys, and those guys ran it. Now, none of this would have been possible without what Jaylen Brown has done this
100% agree.
He's taken his game to the next level and forced the league to take him serious in a way it never quite had before. He's averaging 28.7 points, 7 rebounds, and 5.3 assists per game. He's leading the league in shots per game. He's forced himself in the top 5 of the MVP conversation, and first-team All-NBA is looking...
Who's ahead of him? Okay, realistically, who's 4 and 3? I want to take a look at this right now. I swear to God, if I see one name on here, I am going to walk out of here. Because I will be disgusted if I see a certain individual ahead of him. I will actually like walk out of here. All right, let me go to Moneyline, see what it's looking like. I want to take a look at the odds. They have Brown at 4. So they have Shea, Wemby, and Jokic ahead. I mean, I get Jokic, but, like, how many games did he really even play? I mean, Jaylen Brown played 71 games this year. How many did Jokic end up playing? 65 games. So he played, like, at the number that he was supposed to play in. I mean, I won't argue Jokic, obviously. Wemby's on this list too. Should we give it to Wemby already? Like the top 3? I don't know about that one. I mean, he's a monster defensively, don't get me wrong. Oh no, he played 64 games. He's not even eligible. Wemby's not eligible for MVP. Yeah, Wemby's not even eligible. Wemby played in 64. So, yeah, Brown should be top 3. That's why I was thinking, like, oh, Wemby's on here too. I was like, I thought he wasn't on. He's supposed to be on here for some reason. But I mean, I would have understood it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have understood those 3. But yeah, Brown should be top 3. Brown should be top 3 on here. So, the top 3 is going to be Shea, Jokic, and Brown. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I have no argument for that. I agree. I agree with that top 3. So, looks like I'm not ending this video early.
Magnificent! Magnificent! Magnificent!
Alright, I'll say the name right now. If I saw Jalen Brunson ahead of Jalen Brown, I was about to lose my mind. I would have actually, like, lost it. If I saw Jalen Brunson ahead of Jalen Brown in the MVP odds race. Like, I would have actually, like, lost my mind. I would have ended the video. I would have gone on a tangent, and I would have been out of here. And it's not even me hating on the Knicks right now. Like, genuinely, I feel like Brown had a far better year than Jalen Brunson did. And I personally feel like it really wasn't close. So, yeah, I'm glad Brunson's not ahead of Jalen Brown. I mean, Brown's going to be a first-team All-NBA. That's for sure. And well-deserved. And I'm glad he's finally getting his flowers, because we've been saying all along that he is a 1B. Like, he could be a 1 on a playoff team, and with the right team around him, like, he could compete for a championship if he was the number 1 with the right team around him. We've always been saying that. If you've known ball, you've known that from the beginning. The Celtics are just lucky to have 2 guys that could be looked at around the league where both guys could lead a team to a championship. That's the best scenario you could have in the NBA, is 2 guys that are top 10 potential. Do I dare say top 5 potential for both of them? It's an argument to have. So shout out to JB. He had a phenomenal year this year. I can't wait to see what he does in the playoffs.
Like a lock. And after dropping 43 on the Heat, 20 of those in the first quarter alone, that conversation isn't going anywhere. But the raw numbers undersell what's actually changed. The assist number is the thing that matters most. Brown has always been a guy who could get his own shot, off the dribble, in transition, attacking closeout. What he wasn't, for most of his career, was someone who made the entire offense function around him. This season, that's changed. He's running the half-court offense with real decision-making,
over 5 assists a game,
hitting the right man at the right time. And when you have shooters and cutters of that quality around you, good decisions lead to good shots.
Could his decision making be a little bit better?
As a connected
yeah.
Everyone else to do their job without pressure.
But he did. He made the team better all around. So like, I won't fuss about it too much.
On the defensive end, without having to manufacture offense out of nowhere.
I mean, obviously there could be improvement, sure.
The defensive attention that Tatum used to carry, and he was distributing it correctly. Defensively, Brown raised his level too. He's guarding the opponent's best perimeter player on a nightly basis. The version of Brown we're watching right now is a genuinely complete player. Two-way, reliable under pressure, and capable of willing a team to win when everything else breaks down.
Yep.
There's also an MVP case worth addressing honestly, because it gets complicated.
Yeah.
Brown has had a phenomenal season, but the 4 guys ahead of him in the race are having unbelievable years too.
Alright, that's probably another name that I could sit here and be like, are you guys serious right now? Bro does literally nothing on the defensive end. Nothing. Literally nothing. But, like, I get it. He's an offensive wizard. Not saying he isn't. I'm just saying, like, he's an offensive wizard, but, like, that's legit it. And, like, if you look at him, you sit here and you say, like, hey, yeah, the Lakers better without him? No. Sure, like, that's obviously a thing. But, like, with the Celtics this year, where you take Jaylen Brown off of that team, going into this year specifically, it is a gap year for the Celtics. 100%. It's a gap year. That's the point I'm trying to make. The Celtics would have been far worse this season without Jaylen Brown than if the Lakers didn't have Luka Doncic. It's not really close. Again, I get it. Luka's an offensive talent, like, far beyond belief. Like, he's a phenomenal offensive player. But defensively, I mean, yeah, he's got 1.6 steals per game this year. But, like, if you watch him play defense, like, and he averages more turnovers than Brown does also. I mean, Brown has less assists than him, but, like, you know? Brown was more, for me, the way I look at MVP is, like, Brown was more impressive and more valuable to his team this year than Luka Doncic was this year. That's how I look at it.
It's not like the voters are sleeping on him. It's that the competition at the top of the ballot is as stacked as it's been for years. So realistically, the MVP hardware isn't coming to Boston, but first team All-NBA, that's a lock.
That's a lock, yeah.
Carrying the Celtics to a second seed without its best player.
And if Brown finishes top 3 in voting for MVP, like,
because Jaylen Brown isn't the same player he was 2 years
I'll be
ago,
content.
and the league
I'll be fine with
knows
that.
it. And now Tatum is back.
If he's not, then I riot.
Nobody saw coming. Killers recoveries are notoriously difficult, even when a player is physically cleared. The confidence takes time to catch up with the body. The cutting, the planting, the explosive first step, that stuff doesn't come back overnight. And look, he's not quite at 100% yet. The explosiveness is still coming, but here's the thing. He doesn't need to be at 100% to make this team genuinely terrible.
Right.
Since returning,
80% is fine for now.
0.4 points, 9.9 rebounds, and 5.1 assists per night in 31 minutes.
That's just
and
fucking
against Miami, he put up.
Time out. Can we just say, like, how fucking crazy that is?
Get a cut. I think I'm top 5.
Top 5 what?
Top 5.
Can we just talk about real quick how fucking ridiculous that is? He came back off the worst injury that you could have on a basketball court. And, like, he's still dropping 20 a night. Almost 10 rebounds a game. And 5 assists. The only thing really that, like, he took a step back on realistically was, like, his shooting efficiency. And yeah, the blocks definitely aren't the same right now because, like, he's still trying to get it with his legs. But, like, if you really want to, like, break it down, though, if you really want to break it down, he really hasn't missed a beat. And he came off the... And he's only 19!
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered, Legends never die.
Jokes, by the way. Like, to come off that injury that quickly and to make that kind of impact off the gate, like he only played 16 games this year. Like, that's just Superman like. That's like unheard of. And like the only thing like I can like think about, I guess, like, yeah, he's not going to be 100% going into the playoffs this year. Like, that is like a foregone conclusion. Like, he won't be 100%. Fine. Cool. I'm shocked we have him this playoffs, to be honest with you. But what's really crossing my mind, though, this is what's like really like getting to my head. What is he going to look like next year when he's 100%? And the Celtics have some cap flexibility now to add more pieces on top of what they have right now. Like, that's what's going through my head. Guys, I promise you, next year, oh boy. Listen, next year, right? They could be under the aprons. They could even be under the luxury tax next year. And still, watch out for them next year. Next year, they could be a legit dangerous team. And, like, here's the thing also, too. If they stay under the luxury tax next year and reset all their penalties so they can get themselves back into the first apron and all that stuff, oh my God. The future of this team is just so fucking bright. It's so bright in front of your eyes. Like, the league should be petrified, honestly. That's why it's different here.
25 points, 18 rebounds, and 11 assists in his first triple-double of the season.
Shout out to Brad Stevens, seriously.
43. Two of them were directly involved in 105 of Boston.
That man really doesn't miss when it comes to evaluating talent.
Faster than anyone expected. But here's the thing that actually matters more than his individual stat lines. The team didn't regress when he came back. The culture, the system, and the mentality, all of it held. Nobody lost their role or their confidence.
I actually cannot wait to talk about the offseason.
Back into a structure that was already functioning at a high level. And the result is a team that can beat you in multiple ways. And the roster Tatum came back to is legitimately better in certain areas than what he left.
And again, the reason for that is just simply because, like, there's so much they could do to improve the team now.
Big man in the NBA this year. Stepping into a starting center.
And they really don't have to sacrifice much, honestly.
Cater is averaging 10 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks on 65% shooting from the field. Against the Heat, he posted 16 points on 7.
Again, I don't want to jump the offseason talk, really, but
28 plus minus.
Cater should win Most Improved Player.
Celtics front court, the rebounding improvement we talked about earlier runs directly through him. There's real rim protection now.
Well, like, he should be in the discussion for it.
In the post, clean up misses on both ends, and give Tatum and Brown a reliable outlet when the perimeter game isn't there. Then there's Peyton Pritchard.
Like, seriously, okay, I know I keep pausing this video so much, but, like, the Celtics just get so much praise from me right now, honestly. Like, here's what I'll say. Name me somebody in the league who improved his game more than Neemias Queta this year. Go ahead. I'm waiting. I don't think you can name one. I mean, I'm sure you probably could. But, like, it's going to require some time to, like, legit think about that. He should be in the running for most improved player.
Who's averaging 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 5.1 assists.
That's something I can check
When Brown
too.
missed time recently, Pritchard stepped up and dropped 36 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists against Atlanta.
Nikhil Alexander Walker. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could understand. Yeah. That one I can agree on. %, I can agree on that one. I can get behind that. I mean, I didn't expect him to be as good as he was this year. Jalen Duren, Jalen Johnson, Denny, yeah. But I'm shocked Kate is not in the top 10 though. For me, I guess most improved is like guys who improved who like you wouldn't have thought would improve their game, I guess. I should say, like, wouldn't have thought they would improve their game, but, like, you didn't expect the leap that they took, I guess. That's how I'll word that.
Can't control that. Can't control.
I'm kind of glad I pulled up a list.
Never beer step. Hoops it over to Pritchard for 3.
Sam Hauser scored 23 against Miami on 9 of 11 shooting, including 5 of 7 from 3. 17 of those points in the first quarter, tying a Celtics franchise record for threes in a single quarter. Hauser has been shooting 38.7% from 3 and opening up every driving lane that Tatum and Brown can attack. And beyond the shooting, he's developed into a real defender and a capable passer, which has made him genuinely difficult to take off the floor in big moments. Baylor Shireman is playing through a fractured thumb, sprained ankle, and still shooting 38.6% from 3. Luka Garza just went for 22 off the bench against Minnesota. Jordan Walsh is...
Here you go, Steph. Luka Garza, I apologize to you. I owe you an apology. I doubted you when you weren't playing that good early October, like in the season, I mean, in October, November, and even December, like when I saw like you weren't really playing good, I was a little harsh, and I was losing hope. And I owe you a public apology. I was wrong about Luka Garza. Luka Garza had a great, and I mean by great, I mean he had a phenomenal season. 58% from the field, 43% from 3, 77% from the line, 4.1 rebounds per game, 8.1 points per game. And that was in 16 minutes played per night. He was phenomenal this year. He was probably one of the better guys coming off the bench this season. I mean, obviously you got Peyton Pritchard, who plays like Lou Will off the bench. But, like, is Peyton Pritchard... Sam Hauser started for most of the year this year, so, like, do I really want to, like, count Hauser? Yeah. I don't know. But honestly, for me, yeah, you know what? I'll say Luka Garza was better than Sam Hauser this year off the bench. I mean, Sam Hauser averaged nearly 25 minutes a night, 42% from the field, 39% from 3, 3.8 rebounds per game, 1.5 assists per game, 9.2 points per game. Luka Garza was better shooting the ball than he was. Had more rebounds than him. Had nearly the same amount of assists per game as him, I should say. 8.1 points per game for Luka Garza versus Hauser's 9.2 or whatever it was. It's close. And Luka Garza only did that in 16 minutes per game. In 69 games. For me, Garza had the better year than Hauser did. %100. So, Luka Garza, I owe you an apology, dude. Baylor Shireman, second half of the year, really played well also. I mean, I'm glad we have Garza next year. I'm glad we have Shireman next year. Listen, their games are only going to grow. Again, we'll talk more off-season plans going forward, but there are some good pieces on this team. That's for sure.
Frenetic defense energy that Boston leaned in.
Walsh is another one, yeah. Good point. Good point by the dude who made this video.
Last time Silver needed him for a serious stint. And Derek White continues to be the defensive anchor that holds the whole structure together. Then there's Hugo Gonzalez. The Celtics post a plus 17.1 net rating when he's on the court. One of the best on-off numbers for any player in the league this season. From a late first-round rookie, Gonzalez brings relentless defensive energy, rebounding, intelligent cutting off the ball, and a feel for the game.
Shireman, the inbounder. Gonzalez for the tie. Oh, yes! Uno for Trace.
Like I said, there's probably 13 guys on this roster right now that could legit get playoff minutes.
Who can contribute in meaningful ways. Tatum came back to the deepest Celtics team in years. Built and road tested without him.
1, 2,
That's the actual story you see.
4, 5,
The Celtics
6,
used the hardest year they could
7,
have been handed.
8,
Came out the other
9.
side with
Okay, 13 is probably a stretch. I'll probably say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, the number's close. Probably like 11 guys on this team that could get playoff minutes.
There's a real conversation to have. Because this video would be incomplete if we just talked about everything the Celtics are doing well and glossed over the thing that should genuinely worry Boston fans heading into the postseason. When they run into a defense that can actually crowd the three-point line, that can build a wall at the arc, take away the catch points, and force Boston into a different kind of offense, the whole system can stall. Look at their record against the top two teams in the West. Against OKC and San Antonio combined, Boston is 1-3 this season.
Yeah.
The Spurs have handled them twice, and OKC took one earlier in the year when Tatum was still on the sideline. But here's where it gets interesting. The last time Boston and OKC shared a floor, with Tatum back in the lineup, the Celtics won. And that result matters more than the overall record does, because it tells you something about what this team actually looks like at full strength.
Right.
Versus what it looked like for most of the season running without its best player.
True.
The hope for Boston is that Tatum changes this equation significantly. His ability to manufacture offense in isolation, the post-ups, the pull-up off the high ball screen, the mid-range game he's been developing for years, gives them something they simply don't have when he's not out there. You can't just wall off the arc and dare the Celtics to beat you off the dribble when Tatum is healthy, because he will. That's what he does. The gap year narrative is dead, and it deserves to die, because it was built on the assumption that what made Boston good was the names on the floor, when the reality is what makes Boston good is the blueprint underneath it all. Tatum is back, Brown is playing like a legit top 5 player in the league, the front court is solved in a way it hasn't been in years, the bench has real contributors top to bottom, and there are 10 to 12 guys in the rotation who know exactly what their job is and how to execute it. This isn't the same Boston Celtics. It was never supposed to be.
No.
The team that won in
If you thought...
was great.
I'll wait till the end of the video because I think it's getting close to the end.
It's different. Younger in certain spots, deeper across the board, and stress tested in a way that championship teams rarely get tested during a regular season. They got handed the hardest version of this year, and they passed. But the question nobody is asking yet, the one that's going to define the next 2 months, is whether Missoula Ball can hold up over 7-game series against the best in the East. Are Boston the favourites to come out of the East? Drop your take in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the hype and like buttons, subscribe for more videos like this one, and check out one of these videos on your screen now.
Now, okay, before we close out this video, I just want to say, if you thought that the Celtics were going to come in with the same play style as previous years, that's crazy. Like, obviously, they couldn't come in with the same play style as years in the past, because that wouldn't have worked. Like, that was obvious that it wasn't going to work. That's why I thought the whole gap year narrative was dumb, because, like, you just expected the Celtics to play the same exact way after losing all that they did and not have their best player because of injury. You just expected them to play the same way. Like, that was just never going to be the case, and that's why that was dumb. And I'm glad they proved those guys wrong. And I'm glad Joe Mazzulla also proved to the league this year that he is one of the best coaches in the NBA. Because he proved the doubters wrong. He proved the guys who thought that they knew how he coached wrong. He proved them all wrong. And he proved that he can change a game plan, and he can put the best process out there possible to help the team accumulate wins while keeping somewhat of the same philosophy. He put the team in the best position to win games this year. Even with everything that they've lost at that point, he found a way. That's what good coaches do. That's going to do it for this one here. Leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoy these videos. Subscribe if you guys are new. You guys know what to do. Go to the website. The link is in the description down below. If you guys want to be notified whenever you drop an upload, hit that notification bell so you can be the first one to watch these videos. Thank you guys for watching this one here. It's been your boy Jesse, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.